We live?
Yes, we are.
Perfect.
Hey everyone, this is Sharon from Self-Care for Black Men, and I am here with Raw. I'm going to wait just a few moments to allow other people to come onto this live stream. And what I'm doing today is one of the things that I do with Self-Care for Black Men is to spotlight different groups, organizations, individuals, and things of the like to pretty much allow men to know what is out there when it comes to self-care and how they can take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And so let's just give it a few minutes. And I do appreciate for everyone who's joining us and for anyone who's going to see the replay. And this will be on YouTube as well. So definitely check the bio when it comes to that, even if you attend, even if you happen to miss it. It will be something.
Yes, yes.
And so, again, I am really, really pleased.
Me too.
that you are giving your time to be able to share what you do in forms of self-care. And not only you do it for yourself, but you share it with others. So let's just kind of start off by everyone
introducing.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Ra, and I'm an L. I'm a transformational coach that facilitates intuitive coaching, meditation, martial arts, Tai Chi, at a nonprofit called Nagatent Temple, and do it privately.
Okay. And so when it comes to all of these different modalities, how did you become involved in that? Like, how did it attract you, or you attracted to it?
At a very young age.
Okay.
Age 7. And my father trained me in martial arts at the age of 7. So at a very young age, I was exposed to that level of the relationship of martial arts and the energy that goes behind it. And with that, I just took that feeling, that energy part with me and built on it through different people, different instructors, different masters, and here I am today.
Okay. Now you mentioned energy. What is that? Because we hear about energy, but I'm not sure if everyone knows what that means.
What is energy? How can you break that down? Okay. It's definitely a feeling. It's something that you know, but you really can't really put your hand or finger on it. But once you start getting into that knowing, that feeling, it becomes more and more clear to you. So within the body, within nature, certain spaces hold this energy, and it's not like it's not a left-brained type of knowledge. It's really a right brain. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of, yeah, that feels good. No, that don't feel good. No. And then from that, then that's when you draw conclusions or whatever on the left brain of your mind.
Okay, so it's almost something like with our natural ability, like where we're drawn into something, exactly. We don't even know why. We can't even state it, but we just know that we're drawn into something, whether that's people, places, things, ideas, or wherever that is.
It's innate knowing.
Okay, and then when it comes to, because you mentioned something about, you might have didn't say negative energy, but it's almost like something that just doesn't sit right with you.
Right.
And so we're like, because sometimes you can walk into a room and it's like, oh, I don't feel welcome here or something. And it's not that someone is being paranoid or have low self-esteem. Like you say, it's more of a feeling.
And that feeling is that psychic energy is in the walls, it's in the space. And when you're in tune, if you do more and more meditation, you feel more of it. And then it becomes definite, like, okay, that ain't it. Something else. Yeah.
Okay. And so when it comes to your journey of all the different things that you've already named and what you do, like what had drawn you to share it with other people?
I'll start at church, because at church, that's when I felt something that wasn't right, and something that I knew I had inside that I couldn't express. So, given that and trying to express that through conversations with other people, them bouncing off at me and I'm bouncing off at them, drawing certain conclusions, that's when I know that, okay, something in me that I know because I feel it, and because I'm expressing it to that other person, they're also getting the same reaction. And this thing between us is like, okay, now we're elevating, now we're getting somewhere. Just from the bouncing back, the exchange. Hope that answered the question.
I think it did. And so, but pretty much what you're saying too is that all of us really have that ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I know, like for myself, like I kind of call it with my day job. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been in the field for more than 20 years. And I know traditionally we are not trained in that way.
No.
Not at all. And I've been introduced to, I'd say, at least another way to look at the brain, to look at the body, mind, and spirit, and really open my eyes. And I'm like, okay, I don't even want to say there's another way. It's in addition to.
Yeah.
Because it's all beneficial, but really we have been, leaving that part out.
And the way I'm talking about is a very ancient way, because we as melanated people, we deal with pictures, signs, symbols, things of that nature, which hits more on the right. And then bringing that logically to this realm left. But how we're gathering information these days is more of a left-brained type of way. And so we getting the information, but it's not really satisfying. It's not like, okay, yeah, but not really. There's still more into it. Versus, seeing a symbol and then breaking that symbol down, it start to resonate with you. Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, when it comes to, like, meditation, martial arts, Tai Chi, and all of the other modalities that you do, like, how do it transform people? Like, how is it beneficial for people?
So for me, what martial art done for me, of course, the body and protection. But when you're in the movements, feeling the movements, when you're angry and you're in the movements, the fight might not come out the way you want to. But if you're still within, and you have a intention in each movement, you can guide the fight to wherever you want it to go. Because ultimately, whoever's within themselves the most creates the outcome of anything. And that is fighting, that is a relationship, that is an argument. Argument is people lashing out back and forth, but is it that person that is still and not even engaging the ego subside and then dissipate. No more argument.
Yeah, and when you said that, it kind of made me think of, we always say, and which is true, we cannot, like change other people. We can only change how we react to things. And then when we change how we react to things,
then you see the different.
In and of itself, it can change how other people react to us.
Exactly.
Either one, they will overtly behave differently, or they will, I kind of call it, get out of our sight.
Exactly.
And so, and I guess kind of going back to energy.
Exactly.
That's where it kind of comes from.
Everything is mirrors.
Yeah. Now, are there any other benefits for people when it comes to practicing these things?
Most definitely health. Black men, health in our community is big. People in general, the whole community.
Yeah.
Just speaking on what we're talking about, we've gotten to a place where everything is self-gratification, and man, we stay indoors a lot. Going out into nature. Number one, that balancing you with the earth, and all of that stagnant in the mind, the earth is taking that and healing that automatically. And then from that, doing something with your body, moving, because man is made to move, and we're not moving as much like we once was, with intention.
Yeah. I was reading something about that yesterday in a book I was reading. Pretty much they were talking about men are hunters, and because, things are different because we're no longer, in the caveman days and things like that.
Store down the street.
Yeah, it transitioned itself. So it's almost kind of like, how do you still do that just in a different way? Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Just in a different way.
Lifestyle.
And then the other thing I do want to point out is that you were talking about men and men's health, is that it truly is an epidemic. I mean, because even though, yes, everyone, but specifically men and black men are dying younger than any other race. And for what I have come across is that they say it's stress. And stress as in inflammation, and then that's where a lot of our a lot of the medical conditions come into play when it comes to higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, and all of that stuff. And there's some literature out there that's saying that this stuff is not hereditary.
No.
It's our lifestyle. And one of the messages that when it comes to self-care, it's about being intentional in what we do, developing those rituals, and being intentional in what we say, what we do, how we act, because that has a big impact on the brain and how it functions in the mind and how the mind perceives things, and then also being intentional of how we move, that deep rest, and then, of course, what we eat, what we listen to. I mean, it's a combination of everything.
It's a combination, yeah. And in our environment, of course, it heightens that. So knowing when to come down, settle down, being in the body. We talked about martial arts. That's where meditation comes from, come into play. Taking that moment intentionally to get inside of yourself, because yes, your life do depend on it, and you can make a change from that intention from inside. That is very big. Just a 10-minute meditation ritual every day, along with breath work.
Yeah, I'm learning more and more about breath work, and I know that when I participated, like in a session or something, I'm like, oh, this is good. And there was one video that I saw that I followed. I forget the name of this particular type of breath work. I believe it's the fire something.
Fire breathing?
Yeah, the fire breathing. Yeah. And I did that, and I was out of breath.
You definitely got to practice, especially with that one.
But I could definitely feel it, though. It's like, wow. Because it's almost like an energy boost, too.
It is.
It really is.
Energy, emotion, energy in motion.
Yeah.
With that exercise, that breath. So doing that every day, 5 minutes, nothing. You got 24 hours, 5 minutes. That's all you need.
Yeah. And one thing, too, that I want to point out as well is that with the self-care modalities and strategies that you use and you teach others who want to learn, how to take better care of themselves, is that it turns off that fight, flight, and freeze. And the thing is, what people don't realize, because of the way that our society is, the way that it's set up, it's always on.
Yeah.
You know, more so. Like back in the day, you know, when you had to go hunt for your food and all this and that, or look out for lions and tigers and bears, we needed that. But now we replaced it with more so,
Facebook.
oh, did I get the deadline? Oh, they don't like me. Oh, am I doing good? Or am I enough? And it's never really turned off.
Right.
And so by doing, you know, meditation, movement, breathing, it helps turn on the rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic nervous system.
Exactly.
And then the other thing I want to point out is when it comes to the digest part of it, it took me a while. And I want to say, I think maybe the past year where I really started to understand the digest part. Because almost like breathing. People are like, oh, I breathe. Because I'm like, well, food digests. So what are they talking about?
Exactly.
But I find, as I continue my own studies and things like that, and things that I read and watch and talking to other people, I finally understood, or feel like I understand what it means, because anybody who suffer like for any type of gastro problems, heartburn, because I know I had GERD at a very young age, you know what I'm saying, and probably even IBS. I can't say for sure, but it is somewhat of a digestive type of thing. And so when we're always stressed or worried and we're not turning it off, because it doesn't mean that these self-care strategies, modalities are going to make everything go away. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to make the stressors go away. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean. Meaning that if it's raining, it's not going to make the rain stop per se.
Yeah.
But it allows us to walk through the rain with more ease.
Not only that, but make it your intention to make it your daily regimen. And that's a lot of people, that's what most kind of fail to do. Even with, you know, New Year's resolution, then they stop January 5th. Make it your daily regimen. And as men, people, but men, we have to do that. We have to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, even in saying that, for some people, they may say, oh, I don't know about this stuff. This stuff isn't for me. That is for whoever it is. But some people just may be hesitant or just don't see a value of doing it. What would you say to those people?
Case studies.
Okay.
So, been through a lot of people talking about their journey, what they've been through. They were once there where they were at, and now look at where they are now.
Yeah.
I'm all for the results. I mean, and it has to be relatable. Like, it needs to resonate. Yeah, that person was there, and look at them now.
Yeah.
Wow. What did they do? Come over here and see.
Yeah. This is true.
Or keep doing what you've been doing. Yeah. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, because all of this stuff really impacts every aspect of our life, you know, pretty much, you know, how we're living. And when I say that, meaning when it comes to our job, when it comes to our family, how we approach everything. Because I know when I started, I like to say probably most people may have some type of meditation in their life, but sometimes we may do it not in a traditional sense, and I don't even want to say traditional, but we may do it but may not realize that we're doing it, and maybe more of a reflection, but we're more intentional, then our practice may look a little different. I'll put it like that. Exactly. But when I started, you know, meditating, you know, more intentional and on a regular basis, man, I saw a shift. And yeah, a big shift in, you know, just, if anything, I guess you say the main thing is, it's like, if I, when I'm struggling with something, it gave me the answers. You know, it may not come in that sitting, But
in that stillness. Exactly.
comes.
And we need to, like what you're doing right now, we need to cultivate this in our culture. Talk more about this, have more workshops, sittings, just like this, because that's what influences people, the culture.
Yeah.
And we're getting it. Slowly, but we're getting it.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
And even, excuse me.
Yeah.
And even just by you saying that, let's say if there is a God there, and let's say that, especially men being providers and protectors, let's say for whatever reason he lost his job. You know, he has a family and he's looking for a new job. And what people don't realize when it comes to jobs, I mean, that's another story.
Yes.
But it's not as easy as you think. Even if you have degrees or even if you have a track record, you can't make nobody hire you.
You can.
I mean, it can take, for some people, they may be blessed to have a job within 2 weeks, but a lot of times it could take 6 to 9 months or so. So just in that scenario, you know what I'm saying? That's to say they may be getting, what is it called? It's not workman's comp.
Pension, not the pension, but something that they get money from the workplace.
I can't think of what it is right now. But you know, well, hopefully the audience will know what we're talking about. But let's just say that scenario, how can meditation, energy work, you know, martial arts or something of the sort, how can that help a person in that?
I'm going to stick with the meditation on this one because that person created this reality, they created it from a place of tribal consciousness, maybe environment, whatever that was influencing the mind. So going to that point in the mind, stealing it to a point where his awareness grows and grows to a certain point where he sees his own patterns, like, this ain't working. Maybe I need to go over here and do something else. In this type of path, bring him certain opportunities, circumstances, situations, maybe people that resonate with him in a way like, okay, all right. And he may get a job, but I'm not going to even talk about the job. I'm going to talk about building, like nation building for his family and for his community. Because we forget that all of this starts with the family and community. And the man set the tone energetically in that space. So if his mind is aligned, it's in alignment with his true core values, getting into that in silence, in the meditation, that will bring certain things, certain patterns, situations into fruition in his space where he may not even need a job. He create his own and provide for his family. Take it a step further. We are the money. We give money like we give our attention to the thoughts and meditation. We give that value, and to give that level of value to something that doesn't serve you at the end, why are you still doing it? Give it to the people that's giving it back to you. Now you're bouncing back. Now you're creating value without any money. What's up with this? We don't need money? Really? Okay. Nature provides everything.
Yeah.
Already there. One thing we have to do is just go out there and examine, observe, study it. The foods, the herbs. And that's basically what we need, is a detox.
Yeah.
Not another burger.
This is true. This is true.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I know too is that, like, when it comes to hustling and grinding, I mean, that is like worn like a badge of honor in our society among race, among cultures, among,
Who's benefiting from that?
I know. And really that is killing us.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But especially men, because again, kind of going back to being the protector and provider, they feel like if they're not bringing in the money, and let's say, kind of going back to what we were talking about before, because sometimes, even though that can happen for some people where they can, I'll put it like this, sometimes for some people, and it could be male or female, but I'm talking about men right now, especially being that provider piece is where, let's say they're not able to find a job, but then they have gifts, but it's almost like they don't believe in themselves and they get stuck.
They need to change their environment.
Yeah.
And they need to be an environment that is supportive of those gifts. I truly believe, I know whatever environment that you're in cultivates your habits and behavior.
Yeah.
And if that environment is, no, you can't do that, nah, then yeah, the subconscious mind say no. Unless you're powerful enough to know that what's going on within, which a lot of people's not, because they don't even set the time to, what, meditation? No, I'm going to thing down the street, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So they need to change environments. And from that, the lifestyle. You need to travel more. Yeah, we do. Definitely do. Seeing different people, how they interact with each other in their space, how they live. Because we only know one way of doing things.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah,
this is true. And one thing I can say is once I have been exposed, to energy work, to meditation, to yoga, one of the things that I have been doing, like say being on social media, and I'm like, oh, well, they're doing that. Oh, well, let me go there too, and it has really been a blessing because it has exposed me to people, to be in the company of some really magnificent individuals, and even like in meeting you, you know what I'm saying, and so it really does. And one thing I want people to know is that when you open the door, the gate will open, and
you
things
have to do the initial doing, going through first.
Yeah.
A lot of people just sit back like, I'll wait on it. No. As soon as you have that thought, as soon as you have that inspiration, do it right then and there. Because now you're changing your neurological behavior by doing it in that act.
Yeah. And so when it comes to, like, when you have challenges in your own life, what do you do, like, for self-care? Or whatever name that you want to put to it. Struggles, challenges, or something that...
Well, most definitely, I take a look at myself and see how that is reflected in my environment, because everything is in your environment comes from you. Thought patterns, subconscious mind, anything. Anything outside of you is inside, playing on the subconscious level. So maybe how I would do that is, most people would journal. Specifically me journaling in a way of streamlining my subconscious mind. What thoughts come up? What patterns am I always doing? Becoming aware of that physically first on a piece of paper. Then taking a look at that and seeing, okay, yeah, I need to do something different right there. Oh, okay, right, that. Okay, yeah. And then sit with how I can navigate from where I'm at to that desired vision on paper.
Okay.
It is a technique, and what I've just shared with you is a something that I just created, but I'm pretty sure there's a name for it.
Yeah.
But me, then again, going back to energy, when you're in yourself and when you feel and see energy moves, you'll know how to navigate it and analyze different things. things will come up to you and be like, that's it, or nah, go over here. So it's that reading, and that reading comes from meditation for me.
Okay.
Seeing the thought patterns of what comes up in my mind, and from that, being still, not grasping on it, but recognizing that it's there, acknowledging it, and then still coming back to the breath. That exercise in motion on the outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and one thing that I can say even for myself is when by sitting in meditation, and the more I do it, is that it does allow me to see, let's say, what part that I played. And sometimes it may not be pleasant. I'm like, did I do that? You know?
Yeah.
Like, no, I didn't do that. And even though it may not be our intention of whatever we said, did, or didn't say, or didn't do, it may not be our intention, but it allows us to see that, and then to dig even deeper, or where that has come from. Because it comes from somewhere. And then also for me, and really what I'm about to say, I've always been this type of person, but it has granted me to, I guess you say, be a little bit more of it, is to really see the other side of the person. Meaning like, we're thinking, oh, they did this to me, they did that to me, where they're in their own world trying to
figure out theirs.
And even though, no, I don't like what they did to me per se, but then what did I do to them too? You know, it's for each person to look at. You know, we all have stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That we don't even realize that's going on. I call it in the back burner, or, you know, in the, you know, in the back room. You know, it's pretty much the subconscious. It is. And again, this is another conversation where, when it comes to, like, people think that someone has made a decision to do something. Sometimes we're just reacting to it more so than responding, because somewhere back in childhood or along the way of life, that I call it, we have these soft and hard stops. You know, the hesitations, and it's like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. You know, that type of stuff.
And when you hit it on perfectly, when you calm the mind and relax and be still, and it just, even if that thought come up, your awareness is growing in a way that you recognize that, and you like, oh, yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. That's big. That's real teeny tiny, but that is huge. And that's the shift. That's the shift.
Well, we can do something different, think something different, and all of that kind of stuff. And so, and that's pretty much where our growth comes to be. And then again, because this is self-care for Black men, for men to really realize in that, or at least recognize that, you know, what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're behaving, it all ties into it, and how you're feeling, because that's the other thing, because that feeling part, because you can say, yeah, I like this, but if you don't really feel it, then it's not going to really attach. That energy isn't going to really attach to it, and then that kind of comes into our belief, because the mind, I'd say, is powerful.
It is.
It's very powerful, and it will really believe whatever you tell it. It doesn't know. It doesn't know.
That's the power of it. I mean, speak it, and so it is. Regardless of, well, I don't, but you spoke it.
Yeah, if you say bad things always happen to me, your brain is going to be looking for it. And even though the things may not be good, however, I would encourage people to say it in a different way, because it's almost like you have to fool the mind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, things are always happening and taking me in a different direction. You know?
But not only that, but knowing where that comes from, because, okay, we got 3 parts of the mind. 2 parts is the subconscious mind. The first part is the reptilian part of our mind. That's the fight, flight, feed, everything. That's the way. If something happened to us, oh,
Yeah.
That's one part. The other part is the mammalian. It's the feeling part.
Mm-hmm.
It's the part where we bond with each other.
Mm-hmm.
The part that's connecting. You want to get to that in a minute. And the other part is the human, which is the think, the logic, the reasoning, that part. So the feeling part of the mind, meditation does a great number on that, because everything is energy. And when you feel it, whatever frequency that is, you have a decision to either go with that or no. So it's in that decision if you want that or not, or even asking yourself, am I ready for that?
Yeah.
Now, if you're thinking that, yes, you are. Go through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to spend most of our time in, that feeling.
Yeah.
And recognizing when that fight, flight, feed is playing in our reality too. No, we don't need more of that. We need more of stillness, intention, placing things with intention, speaking, things of that nature.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got too much thinking already.
I know, and that's the way society has pretty much taught us, made us think that we're using our logical part of the brain or a logical part of ourselves, like, oh, well, I can make good decisions and this, that, and the other, but...
That's where you have to fool yourself.
I know, we're missing a whole...
Exactly.
We only have a piece
and
of
that's
the pie.
10% of your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
The 90% is the subconscious, which dealing with those two areas. And most people is in their reptilian.
Yeah.
Or what I call the shadow.
Exactly. And by you saying the shadow, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just about to say the other thing I want to point out too is that by having self-care strategies, modalities, and practices, is that one thing that I tell people is that we all are healing from something and don't even know it. Mm-hmm. And so it can be something from our childhood or something repetitive that may keep happening in some kind of way. It got stuck in our brain, exactly. Or it literally still happens for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Kind of, let's say the person who says, I have bad luck, bad things always happening, mm-hmm. It's just following me around. In that, when it comes to self-care, that will help kind of put things in its place.
Not only that, but recognizing what is playing in the shadow, which is pretty much all of the archetypes. When you have a consultation or when we're working one-on-one, in my intuitive coaching sessions, we go through those shadows, what's playing in your life, and most definitely recognizing it, seeing it for what it is, and then alchemizing it in a way of turning that energy from shadow to light, because all shadow is just a negative part of the light, getting to you in that light part, because in that light, that's when you can start manifesting things on demand.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to be.
Exactly.
Versus striving and hustling and oh, I'm tired, but let me keep hustling some more. You're hurt.
Yeah.
You're in your womb. You're hurt. So healing that part, alchemizing it, and then turning the light on.
Exactly. Because when it comes to the shadow work, again, that part of us is wounds and unresolved issues. And what people don't realize is that, I kind of call it, our society has made us think that when we have like pet peeves, that's who we are. No, there are habits, there's patterns of behaviors. Yeah, and that comes from somewhere. I mean, I can even think of, I have several of them. But let's say, for instance, I've always loved to go barefooting anyway, but I would not go barefooted in grass. Wow. And I remember I was dating someone, we were somewhere, and even though and the grass was a little high, I wanted to take a picture, and I had shoes on, and they were like, well, you like to go barefoot, but I would not get out of that. I would not go into it. But even though I had forgot about it, but doing all this work, it made me remember when I was a child. My parents, my mom and my brother and I was at a relative's house, and mom was like, don't go over there, don't do this, and of course we're gonna go over there,
right.
Keep your shoes on. Again, I've always loved going barefooted. Anyway, I went barefooted. The person had a dog whatsoever. I'm playing, doing my thing. We left to go home. What's that? I done stepped in some dog poop. My socks had, and so from there,
that energetic memory.
Yeah, I never walked.
In your feeling part of your brain.
Exactly.
Carrying it to where we.
And not even really, again, that memory didn't come up until I started doing this work. Exactly. But like when I would, like walking grass, I'm looking. Really? And things like that. Really? I don't do it as much now. Maybe a little bit.
Got to reprogram.
But stuff do be in grass if it's high grass. If it's cut low, but that's to say, but if somebody just had a pet peeve where they're not going to walk in any grass, and you can literally be arguing with someone, right, trying to get them to do something, they're standing in their ground, like, no, I'm not doing it, and exactly, and it brings up, it can bring up a lot of things. But just in saying that, that's for us to think, like, for all of us, men and women, exactly, just like, what kind of pet peeves that I have? Even sometimes when it comes to deal breakers. I mean, yeah, there are some deal breakers we need to have, but then there are some there's just preferences. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's part of us wanting to control things and things like that. But yeah. But go ahead.
With that person, they have to be real honest with themselves to want to do that healing. Like, it takes, like, man, I'm down at the very bottom and I don't know what the heck to do. It takes some situations like that. But yeah, if you can be aware when it's happening, yeah, that's even better. You don't have to go all the way down to feel that, like, okay, I need the help.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Now I know that you provide services for everyone, but I'm talking particularly for men. So what type of services do you provide for men?
Most definitely the meditation and intuitive coaching. Like what we was talking about with the shadow work, a lot of men going through different types of shadows within themselves. This time, past life, trauma, whatever the case may be. In these sessions, we go through that like a journey, addressing those issues, seeing it for what they are, alchemizing it, and then changing that into something positive, along with maintaining that with some of the meditations and other things that I have. Those two are the main keys that I use when dealing with men and women, but most definitely men, because men, mind, our environment, we hold space in our environment, we set the tone in it, and when our mind is strong, our environment is. Family, community, and everything else. So those are two things that I gravitate mostly.
Okay.
With us men.
And then when it comes to alchemizing, what does that word mean? Because everyone doesn't know what that means.
Changing. We're changing. Energy can't be destroyed. We can't do away with it. If you have bad energy, I can't just take bad energy out and just, okay, bad energy away. No. What you have in you already, we're changing it. Okay. We're shifting it. And then you will feel that and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's alchemizing. And you do that through doing.
Yeah.
Soon as you see something, soon as you feel something, yes, the grass isn't nice, but you know what? Let me stick my foot in it and develop another relationship with it that is more pleasant and positive. And then maybe on your next go around, you barefoot all over grass. Doing it that way.
That's good. So how can people reach you?
www.nagatentemple.org, or you can go on Facebook and look me up, Ra Naman L on there.
And Instagram too.
Instagram is Ra dot Naman NAMAN dot LEL. That was, yeah. Shoot me a message, comment, go to the website. Yeah.
Okay. And we have a few minutes left, maybe about 10 minutes left. And so we're going to do one of your services that you do. And you said meditation.
Yeah, meditation. So a lot of people in our community, they say they meditate, and they probably do. But the meditation that I'm talking about is the one that what we both talk about is being still, being in the mind, but this is a guided one. And I do this in a way where I'm jogging people's mind to why they're doing what they're doing so that I can give them meaning, and they'll be like, okay, that's the reason why. Even with breathing, a lot of people, why putting so much emphasis on the breath? I mean, what is that? I don't want to breathe. Breath, when you breathe intentionally, you're guiding your emotions. You have a hold on it, and you're guiding it to a way where you can calm yourself down to a point where you can relax. And I tell people this because they don't know. Most people that just say, "Oh, meditate." There's more to it than that. So we'll do a self-guided meditation right now.
All right.
I'm gonna close our eyes. Take a deep breath in the nose and out the mouth. Knowing why we're taking this breath is because, number one, it gives life. Number two, we are guiding our thoughts, feelings, and emotions in this breath, in this present moment, to be still, be present, and to be with self, first and foremost. And in this self-guided meditation, I want you to feel the breath as it goes in the nose, out of the mouth, feeling the rise and fall of the sensations of the inhale, feeling the belly, and the exhale, loosening, softening, and let it go. There's a reason why we do this. And mainly it's for three. We meditate to guide the mind, heal the body, and to know God. The guiding portion of meditation is being still with the breath, focusing only on it. This develops our spiritual muscle and our focus. When thoughts come inside of our mind, don't cling to the thoughts. Always be aware of it. Because what you give your awareness to grows. So in this moment, turn the attention from your thoughts to the breath. And if thoughts come, welcome it. Thank you. Don't push it away. Be still with it. Observe it. And come back to the breath. Breathing in the nose, feeling our abdomen expanding. Breathing out, softening, loosening, and letting go. Feeling the sensations of the intake, the exhale of the breath. Being with that. And when you're ready, in your own time, gently open your eyes.
Wow, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
As always, even just for a few moments, it just centers you, brings you back. And like even if I was thinking about, different things, it's not there.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing, especially in our community, where that needs to be expressed, is where we place ourselves when we doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm in my mind, I can't get out of my mind. And there's ways of getting out of your mind before you go into meditation. And those are some of the things that I teach us in my sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing yourself, your time, and all your knowledge and wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for joining us. And again, this will be on the replay and it will be on YouTube. And if you have any specific questions, you can put those down and I will get back to you. And of course, I wasn't able to look at everything at this moment, but it will be looked at. And again, thanks for joining us.